Okay. Hello. You can hear me. How's everybody doing tonight? Good? Yeah. I'll start this off with like a little bit of a personal story. I got married a couple days ago, and after that we've been actually doing like the final builds of Pako. So I wasn't like very comfortable of like standing around, so I'm sitting. So I hope that's okay. But yeah, my name is Heikki Sillanpää, and I'm responsible for like Paco's graphic design, music, and basically all like audiovisual stuff that is in the game. And I don't know how many of you actually know what is Paco. One. That's good. Okay, so to like start this off, I will show you like a video that like inspired us, our company Dream Games, to make this game, and it's like this. So as you can see, it's just like pretty like ridiculous, like police chase video, but it's just like unreal in many ways. And immediately when I saw this video, I was like, holy shit, there has to be like a game like this, and why nobody has made it. And then we decided to make it. So yeah, basically Paco is just this and nothing else. You have a car, you don't have any sort of like possibility to escape. It's just like surviving as long as possible. And yeah. Sorry. So, yeah, as I said, there's a car that doesn't have any brakes. It just like goes on full speed the whole time, and you just try to survive as long as possible. And like, of course, like there was that like video we saw, but then there's like bunch of like inspiration from like different kind of movies. Movies like Blues Brothers, which probably has like the best car chase scenes in any movie ever, and also like the classic Vanishing Point, and well, Drive in sort of way that like the style of Drive kind of like had a little bit of like it was sort of like an inspiration for the whole game. Because it's like very like stylized movie in many senses, and of course the movies, but like more from the like style point of view, Hotline Miami also, which is like pretty like unique experience in many ways, and probably like my favorite game in couple years. And the whole like style and like kind of like uniqueness of this game and these movies kind of like inspired us to do like, or me to do the choices I did with the game. Also like one thing that was kind of like a happy accident was the like orthographic camera. So there's not like perspective in that way. It's just like it looks like very flat. Like one of the reasons why we did it that way is because those like helicopter shot like chase things you can see on YouTube and whatnot, they usually kind of look like flat in a way. But actually, like how we did it was our coder just like decided to put on the orthographic camera on like the first build, and I was like, well, okay, this works. So that was like one thing also, and because there was those like movie influences in the start of the the designing of the game, I made these like posters of like every possible, or like all the like 5 stages that are in the like in the full version of the game. Actually, on the middle one you can't see on the screen, but there's like a couple of tanks, and it's kind of like a little bit like Tiananmen Square, the whole stage. And then there's like one that is like a mall parking lot. That was our like first stage we did. And then there's like suburbia, and also a cemetery with zombies in it that you gain like bonus points from. And then there's like a highway level. And yeah, I'm not going to talk like very like technical today, because I'm not very good at the technical stuff. So this is going to be more about the like kind of like inspiration, and like how you can like get that from like different sources. And like one of the like main things besides those movies and Hotline Miami, I don't know how many of you have seen this movie called Wrong Cops, but this actually like played very like big part in that way that there's actually no like car chases in this movie or anything else, but the whole mentality of this movie, that it's kind of like familiar but not really, like it happens in some like another universe. So that was kind of like big inspiration to us. I'll just show a small piece of it. Also, actually the soundtrack of this movie was like very, like that's like a clear influence in
I'm not really very good at this kind of
game.
bullshit. Wow. Have a nice trip down to hell, buddy.
1, 2, 3.
Oh my God, what happened?
Come back here!
So it's kind of like
I shot him
retro,
by
but
mistake.
it's not retro. The music doesn't
What are you
really
listening
fit,
to?
but it really fits
Cool.
in the end.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of what we wanted to do. Like have something that is kind of familiar, but not.
What is this?
Oh my God, this is so huge.
Hi, sexy.
Who is this?
Yes.
Mommy? Is that you?
Sorry. And because like foremost, well, I'm a graphic designer, but I'm also like a musician, and like many times whenever I do like some sort of like game design or something, it comes like first from the music. It might sound like silly, but that's just how I do it. And here's like, if you can now remember the like Wrong Cops theme, or like the music in that, this is like the music I decided to make for the game, very much inspired by the Wrong Cops. Also, one of the challenges with the music is that, of course, these have to be like short loops. So they have to like loop directly. When it ends, it starts again, and so on. Oh, hi guys. And yeah, I tried to do this like very kind of like early 2000s French, like, well, basically like Mr. Oizo and that kind of stuff, music, because it's like, it can be like very like repeating itself all the time. but like that's kind of like the point of the music. Yeah, let's let it play for a while. Yeah, so I composed like 6 songs in total for the game, plus one song for the menus, which is kind of like different, but we'll get into that soon. So, let's get to the graphic design part of this. The goal was to make very simple and as low poly as possible 3D modeling and think about the color schemes that they look pleasant in a way. And of course the movies that we've been talking about a lot today already. And, well, the basic, pipeline, I don't know even what pipeline means, but I use the word still, was that I did these, models in Blender, and because we are making the actual game in Unity, Unity supports Blender files, straight away, so you don't have to do any sort of, extra importing or exporting at any time. And most of the what's happening there? Well, most of the materials in the game are just very simple textures of these kind of color blocks that you can almost see there. And because we are making the game for mobile, that means that we have to be kind of resourceful with the stuff, and so we can't really support really big textures or anything like that. And I really hate blurry textures in mobile games. So we decided to go to the other end, that is just plain colors and that's it. And well, the modeling part, I'm not any sort of expert modeler, but I think I learned lots during making this game. But they are very basic kind of models. And this is how the stages look from the top view. So basically they are done in that way that there's just one plane on the bottom of it, and all the actually the roads and everything, they are made inside Blender already. I have couple of materials in one stage, and then I just kind of paint the faces in certain colors. So that's why it looks sharper than doing all of the details in sort of textures. It's probably not the most resourceful way to do it, but since we have pretty low poly count anyways, so it really doesn't it doesn't affect the performance that much. So, well, here's actually a picture of the mall inside Blender. So everything there is made in Blender, and after that we have lots of separate models that we then build the whole stage in Unity like this. So we add all the trees, all the parked cars, the surroundings, and so on. And well, then there's couple of from the right you can see there's special spots for the cop cars to come in and so on. that are like little bit different from the like other stuff. But yeah, this is basically how like every scene, like every stage is a separate scene, and like every scene in our game looks like this after it's been cleaned up by our coder, because he likes to organize stuff. And sometimes when you're making a game and you are like a little bit in a hurry, you don't have time to organize that much. But luckily Tony has the will to do that. And here's basically every possible color used in the game. Those are all the like textures from the game. There's a couple of like road signs and so on, that kind of textures, but like most of it is just like this, like tiny like couple pixel like squares of colors, because in Unity, when we do like mobile diffuse materials, you need to have the colors as textures. They don't work with the normal way they do in Unity. But yeah, that's that. Then like the menu that I mentioned like shortly, we kind of like we did like lots of different designs for the menus. And the first design was this kind of like a parking lot view, that you just go into these different like spots of the parking lot. It was like all animated and so on. But after a month or so, like I got this idea of like, what about if these are like kind of like chase movies? So then I decided to like try to make this sort of like menu that is more like old VHS cassettes, and like every stage is sort of like its separate movie. And here's just the like top view of the whole menu system. So there's like 5 stages. Then on the left there's like the options menu, with just to like control the sound and music volume, and on Windows Phone to change the player's name. And below here there's the like actual like start screen of the game. So like one of the biggest things we tried to do was to have the game center stuff on iOS, and like just our own system on Windows Phone and Android, to like people to like compete with the scores. And like the first times were just like something like 1 minute or something, and my best time is about 1.5 minutes. But now like some dudes have played it for like, I don't know, like 9 minutes, which seems like pretty impossible. But anyways, we tried to like embrace the amount of like text in these menus, because like all of these like cassettes, the stages have like their own separate like high score lists and so on. So we kind of wanted to, or I wanted to make the like menus like kind of like pleasant to look at, and not like a menu, because I hate shitty menus. They like are really annoying, and they kind of like take some like quality away from like even a good game. And we tried to do the menu as good as possible, and I'm sure like the rest of the team was like at some point probably a little bit frustrated, because I just like kept going back to the menu and do something with it. But yeah, I think the end result was pretty okay. Then there's just like a couple of pictures from the game. Well, the contrast of the screen doesn't really like support these pictures, but from here you can see the like the kind of like the simpleness of the graphics. It's in the end pretty simple stuff, but we just wanted to make the whole thing to look as like unified in a way. And well, here you can see the shadows, which I was like trying to battle to have them till the end, but like unfortunately the mobile devices they can't handle the shadows at the moment. But like we are trying to bring them back. And well, here's from another stage. As you can see, it like shares most of the like materials and so on. So this is from like the suburbia stage, where there's like a small shop on top of the screen, and then there's like a bunch of like houses and so on. It's like a small neighborhood that you like drive around. And here's more of that stuff. And we also tried to like hide a little bit of those like movie nods to the stages. I don't know if you can see from the screen, but like there's like the top car in the parking lot. That's actually like you can see it resemble like it looks like the van from Breaking Bad and so on. And actually the shop here, it's modeled straight from the supermarket in Simpsons. So it's like Apu's Market basically, with the donut on top of it. And well, I'll show you like a small clip of the game in motion. This is from the like one of the early builds in for iPad. So you can notice that actually the text there is like broken, but all that is fixed now. And yeah, the on-game menu system is kind of like, or like menu, but the user interface it tries to like imitate sort of like TV channel menu, TV channels like graphics. So there's like this like bar on the like this bar here that has like it's actually has like rolling text there. Like some of the texts like tell you like how many cop cars you have like destroyed while playing and so on. So it's like a live ticker, and on the top there's this TMG, aka Dream and Games live button. We changed that to like pause because not many people like understood that that's actually like you press that and then the game goes for a pause. So that was kind of like we had even like some sort of battle about that also. But yeah, that we decided to change. And like for some stats, this is just like roughly what I counted today just by looking at just like the Unity project we have. So there's like about 99 separate models, like buildings, trees, different cars, well, basically everything. And about 111 textures, but I'm not sure if we are like really using most of those because there's some like unused ones there. and 6 songs, 18 sound effects. So the like sound effect part is pretty sparse on the game. There's basically like one like crash sound, an ambient track that plays just with the like police radio and like sirens, and a couple of like clicking sounds for the menus, and about that. That's about it. And yeah, we started to make this as a sort of like therapy project, like a little bit before 1st of May. So we wanted to do this like something very simple that we can finish like very fast. And it took us about like 3 weeks to make the first version of Pako with just like one stage on it. And suddenly like people really got into it, and it has now about 100,000 downloads on Windows Phone, which is pretty good, I think. And now we are launching the full version with 5 stages. And well, yeah, these are basically all the tools I used for the game. So like everything is made in the end in Unity, and all the like small stuff I had to do with the textures I did in Photoshop, all the modeling in Blender, and all the music I did in Ableton Live. And yeah, that's about it. Does anybody have any questions? We need a mic.
Why did you end up using, were you tempted to just make a own high scores list for all the devices that you support, or is there some benefit to using the, I think Microsoft has their own high scores list and Apple has their own, and maybe Android even has their own. Is there something to make that easy? Is there like a Unity plugin to do that, or did you have to like study all the ways that Apple stores high scores, how Microsoft stores high scores on Windows Phone, and so?
Yeah, well, the thing was that if you want to get a feature on Apple, you kind of have to have a Game Center support. Oh. So that's kind of like one of the things, but also like on Windows Phone we have like our like own system, but like even now we are kind of like starting to get on the like on the limits of our like servers traffic. So like we kind of wanted to play it safe with like iOS, to have it on Game Center, because then like everything goes just there and not on our like own server. And basically like in the beginning we had like a cross-platform high scores, which was pretty cool, but there was like some problems with that stuff. And yeah, we decided to do the Game Center, and in the end, like it was, I think it works pretty well, and we can also have the like achievements there and so on. Like when you survive more than 30 seconds, you get the like noob achievement, and when you lane like 100 zombies, you get an achievement, and so on. So it kind of works pretty well, and of course you can like challenge your friends and so on.
Was it the big pain to use it?
The Game Center. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of like wrong guy to answer to that, because I didn't do any of that like coding, but like it was in the end like relatively simply, I think.
Okay,
simple.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Oh, okay. I know you said that you weren't pretty technical, but I'm really interested about the shadows. Can you explain to me why couldn't you do them now, and how are you going to do them later?
Well, it's basically just like optimizing the draw calls. Like basically the shadows they almost like double the draw calls that are used in the game, and like.
And your goal was to make it a low draw game.
Yeah, as low as possible, because like mobile devices aren't that powerful in the end.
So basically you can do it, but it makes the game heavier.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And we want to keep the like frame rate like really up, because this is kind of like fast game where you have to do like really fast decisions. But we try to also do like this like kind of like shadow mapping that like calculates the shadows beforehand, and then they are just like sort of like planted on top of everything. But those looked like they didn't look very nice, so we didn't want to use them.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, returning to the heaviness of the game, why do you use 3D graphics? Why not some more simple graphics?
Like 2D or?
Yeah, some
yeah,
sprites.
well,
because then it will be much more flexible to different devices, needs less resources.
Yeah, that's entirely true, but and of course, like when we have this like orthographic camera, you basically could have this all done in 2D. But the way this project started was like we are making this another game, kind of like an action shooter game, and I had done these like cars for that game. So we had like bunch of the like assets ready, and then it just like took its own path. And like our first game our company did, we did that like very like 2D, and it was in the end it was like really heavy on my part, and like also like fixing some like issues in the graphics. They were always like really like tricky, because you had to like edit this like huge sprite sheets and so on. So in the end, like making 3D was like a lot faster, if that makes sense. Well, was that all? Front row. Well, on my behalf, I thank you for coming here, and the 5-stage version of Paco is available tomorrow on Windows phones, and we actually like submitted like maybe like 3 hours before I got here to the like App Store review system. So if everything goes well, it should be available in 2 weeks. Okay, thank you.